Excellent. All right, welcome here to the Well Educated Heart Academy parent meeting. This is the meeting for fall of 2023. And today we are going to have the following agenda for the meeting. Let me go over here. So we are going to talk a little bit about the Academy's mission, vision, and educational philosophy. And we are going to also talk about here the parent teacher student partnership in learning. Then we'll want to touch on the technical requirements and expectations. And then we want to address these other topics of online safety and privacy, how to communicate with the academy's teachers and the staff, and also talk about some of the progress that we have been making on educational reimbursement programs and the ideas that we have for local groups and future growth of the academy. And then, of course, we expect to have time for a question and answer session. Okay, so if that is all right, we'll proceed with that agenda in mind. Okay. If you have questions, okay, along the way, you are welcome to put the questions in the chat so you don't forget the questions. I may address them during that part of the meeting or then afterwards during the questions and answer period. But if we have the questions there recorded in the chat, then it will be easier to follow them. Okay. Emily, Emily Loveless is the manager of the reimbursement program part of the academy, and she is also my oldest daughter. And could you monitor there the chat to make sure that I answer all the questions? Okay, so we'll do that. All right, excellent. If you have a pressing question, okay, then you can raise your virtual hand. Okay, and the way to raise the virtual hand, you go there to the Zoom menu and there's one thing for reactions. Okay, and then one of the buttons there is to raise the hand. Okay, you can see now that I'm sharing the screen. But all right, if you need to leave, of course, leave. Okay, this is one of the advantages of online meetings, is that we can come and go all the time. All right, so let's proceed with our agenda here. Okay, so the mission of this academy. So the Well Educated Heart Academy exists to complement the homeschooling education of middle and high school age students and families following the Well-Educated Heart educational philosophy. So we want this to be an extension of your homeschool. We are not here to replace your homeschool. We are here to help you complement your homeschooling efforts in anything that we can help out. Okay, so that is our mission, is to be of help to you. The main reason why we started this is because Marlene Peterson and we recognize that the well-educated heart, through the Libraries of Hope and all their different websites, even the Bellamy at Home, they have a lot of resources and programs that are geared mainly to the elementary school students. Okay, there are some things also there for the teenagers, for the older students. But one of the things that happen and this is just natural, this is just a very normal thing, is that as the students grow up, mom and dad kind of change their luster. Okay, lose a little bit of their luster in the eyes of the teenagers, and they want a little bit of a different mentor, a different type of mentors. They want some other connections with other students and so on. And also, we recognize that the topics of the courses for middle school and high school, sometimes they get a little bit above the capability, okay, of the parents, all right? And so that is where we come to help out, all right? We are not here to replace, we are here to complement your effort. So whatever is that we can offer that is valuable to you, we are here to do that. All right. Let me see the educational philosophy. This is kind of a summary. I probably need to do a whole webinar on that. Okay, on the educational philosophy that I have. All right. And I threatened several times on doing this, and I haven't had the chance yet to do it. But someday we'll get to it. But the idea here of this academy is that we want first to focus on the heart and then on the mind. That is a very important part of Marlene Peterson's philosophy of the well-educated heart. Heart first, then mind. Okay. We also want to focus on learning first, then teaching. So I really don't want to, the live classes, we want them to be more of an experience where the students are really focused on learning and not so much the teachers being the focus on teaching. So to me, a very successful class is a class where I speak very little. An okay class is a class where there is conversation and give and take between the students and me and everyone, okay, asking questions and answering questions that way. All right. A not very good class is a class where I speak all the time, to tell you the truth. I can do it. I can teach the topics. I do it if no one is there participating or ready to ask questions or answer questions. Then I certainly can do the teaching, but that is not my favorite thing to do, or the way that I wish the classes would go. Okay. Also, another thing that is important to me is that we want to focus on personal connections first and then technology. We are an online academy by necessity because of the economics, all right, of setting up a school, all right. First of all, we wouldn't be able to offer this to a lot of families that are far away from where I live, okay, or where the teachers live. And so what we want is to use technology in order to facilitate these personal connections. But we see that the personal connections, the personal touch with the families, with the students, among the students, is very, very critical. We use the technology, but that is not what drives our academy. Okay, it's the vehicle. If you wish, the technology is like the building in a school. Okay, the building is not the school. The building is kind of the place where things happen. Well, our building is all this technology, Zoom, Mighty Networks, the videos in YouTube and so on that we use to our advantage. Another thing that we want to focus in our educational philosophy is on the sense of wonderment and gratitude first, then proficiency and utility. So to me, education is really a way of learning about all the things that the Lord has done, okay? Being in science, math, economics, history, languages, all of these things we want to approach them with a sense of wonderment and gratitude. And the objective later on then is to develop proficiency in the skills or the concepts that we are learning and so on. And then, a last part would be maybe the utility. What can I use this for in life? All right. So, but the utilitarian model of education is not of interest to me, because I really believe that there is enough of amazing things that we learn and study with this spirit of gratitude and wonderment of everything, really. Okay. We want to build really a community of learner teachers. And that is not two separate roles of personalities. Okay. We consider everyone in the academy to be both a learner and a teacher, being willing to learn, to develop skills, and then being able to share those with others. Okay. I consider myself a learner teacher, and I want all our teachers to be learner teachers and all of our students to be learner teachers. And I hope that you, as parents, also are learner teachers. And you are. As homeschooling parents, you certainly are learner teachers. You are constantly learning in order to then teach. But always with all these characteristics: heart, learning, personal connections, wonderment and gratitude first before everything else. Okay. So that is in a nutshell the educational philosophy that we have in our academy. Okay. Let me switch now to this topic of technical requirements, things that we need in order for the partnership between you and us to work well. All right. And some of these things are kind of obvious, but one of my favorite sayings is the obvious for obvious is usually obviated. Okay. And so let's go over these obvious technical requirements. We are an online school. So we need you to provide your students with a good internet connection. Okay. You know, it is, try to get the best one that you can. I understand there are some families that are in rural areas, and certainly this is kind of, one of the only options that they have, but still try to get the best internet connection that you can. Okay. Starlink is starting to become a reality, especially for some rural areas. So if your current internet connection is not good, check Starlink. That is the Elon Musk company of SpaceX that is trying to provide really, really good connectivity to rural areas. Okay. Please also, we want you to have for your students available for the classes and their studies a laptop or a desktop computer. Okay. A phone certainly will not do. Okay. A phone would be kind of the last resort. Okay. If the student needs to connect on the move or something like that. But that would be kind of a miserable experience for the student to do all their classwork and everything on a phone. All right. A Chromebook or a tablet, I don't know, sometimes it may work, okay, depending on which one it is and whatnot. But, again, try to imagine that the screen is really the connection really to the academy and the teachers. All right. And so if the screen is small, then the experience is going to be also diminished for your students. Okay. We also need to have cameras, okay, a working camera, and the students need to turn the camera on for class. Okay, I really cannot have, and we are going to talk more about this when we address the topic of safety and online and the issue about why having the camera on is a requirement. Okay, but one of the reasons is I have had some students that I've never seen in class. Last year, there were some students that said, my camera is not working, and then they were pretty much the whole year without the camera working. All right. And sometimes I would call on the student and no one was there, and there's no way for me to know whether they are in or not, because I cannot see through the black square. There's nothing to show. Okay, so the cameras have to be turned on. We also need a working microphone, because without a microphone, then the students cannot participate appropriately in the classes. And if they do not have a microphone, then they actually feel justified to not participate in the classes. And we don't want that. Okay. We really need for them to be able to have a voice and to be able to feel comfortable expressing themselves. Okay. The next one is also kind of obvious, but I have to say from experience that it is also important to mention. We need you to have a relatively quiet environment where the student can participate. Okay. Last year, I had, a couple of years ago, I had one student that during the class, their family, every week, they were coming back from the temple. Okay, so they would go to the temple, and then during the class time, it was their drive home. All right. And so the student was on the phone in the car. The connection was kind of iffy. And then there were 5 other younger siblings in the car. All right. And so whenever the student participated, and this student was fantastic, really, because she really wanted to participate in the class. And so many times she raised her hand and unmuted herself and everything. But there was so much background noise that it was almost impossible for us to hear what she was saying. Okay. So, it is also something important. My preference is if the student is in a room by themselves, then the student can leave the microphone on, all the time. They don't have to mute themselves. Even if there's no background noise, okay, like I have here in my office, okay, I don't mute myself throughout the whole time. And so that would be kind of the ideal, because then the student doesn't have to fiddle around with unmuting or so on. Okay, but that presupposes that they have a quiet environment for them to be there. All right. We also need for the students to have access to the textbook and any other resources. We try very hard, and I think that we have done a very good job this year for all the classes to be extremely economical in as far as textbooks and resources goes. All right. So we try to use books that are in the public domain, or books that are very cheap, or OpenStack books and so on. So, but having the physical books for the students is actually a very important resource. One of the reasons why we want the physical books is because we want the students to do as much as possible offline than online. Even though we are an online school, we want them to be offline as much as possible, really. Okay. Dan is asking, how do I find out what books are needed and where to get them? in most of the courses, I think that probably in all the courses, even before you sign up for a course, you can go to the website. Let me share that screen with you. Okay, let me see. All right. Okay, there is your account done. All right. So even before you sign up for the course, you can go to a course under here, under courses 23, 24, and then you can actually preview without buying the course. You can preview the overview of the class and the whole week one for the class. And in each course, either the required materials are in the overview or there is a lesson that is called required textbook, okay? And so that is going to tell you where, what is the textbook, and usually we have a link to the textbook for buying it online, okay? All right, so we have all those resources, they are available to you. All right, let me go back here to the PowerPoint. Excellent. So if the students are using their own computer, many parents wisely set parental controls. So far, the videos that we use, most of the videos that we use and our own videos are YouTube videos. And even if we change our videos to another platform, and we are investigating that option to change the video hosting platform, we still use a lot of YouTube videos for educational purposes. There are a lot of very, very good educational videos in YouTube. And so we need for the laptop that the student is using to be able to have access to YouTube. All right. I know this is kind of difficult, but you know what? That is part of the education that we expect, is that the students, our students, learn to navigate the online environment well without wasting time, without looking at bad things and so on, because this is something that they are going to live with the rest of their days. Okay, that is kind of a part and parcel of being in this world now. Okay, so any questions about this, about these technical requirements, things that we are expecting? All right, okay, let me move on to the next slide of expectations. What are the things that we expect, the behaviors that we expect, especially during the live class? Our courses follow what is called the flipped classroom model. And in this model, the idea is that the students study the lesson materials before the class. They even turn in the assignments before the class, and then they can prepare to participate in the class. Okay, this is different than what most of the times we have experienced in our own education. In our own education, usually we go to class, the teacher teaches something, then they assign a homework assignment related to what they have taught, and then you go home and try to do the homework assignment, and then you turn it in, and then the next class is on some other topic. Okay, so the flipped classroom model is the other way around. You study the lesson before, all right, and so let me again share how that looks like in like, for example, here in the algebra class, we have reading assignments, we have videos that the students need to watch, we have lessons that they need to complete, and so on. We have at the end, an assignment where they need to turn things in, and then we have the class. So the students basically should complete everything that is required for week one before they come to the week one live class. And most of the students have done fantastic with this. Okay, so they are catching up really well. The question is, to make sure that they stay engaged that way. And so the same thing right after we have the live class for week 1, then the students have to start studying the material for the next week. Okay. That is when the second week starts. And then they do that until they are ready to do the assignment for that second week. Okay, so that is kind of how things go in these courses, and that is the flipped classroom model. Okay, so during class, what we want is really for the students to actively participate. We want them to ask questions. We want them to be the ones answering questions. We want them to take notes. And of course, to be respectful. All right, here again is a community of learner teachers. All right, so everyone is here learning and teaching together. All right, there is a question in the chat that asks, is it too late to sign up for the class? It is not too late. Okay, we are still accepting enrollments until the end of September, until the end of week 4. Okay, but it's getting kind of there because now the students basically have to catch up in this model. All right, so basically tomorrow we finish week 2. So next week is going to be week 3. In some classes, the students, if they join late, they would be basically just going to week 3. In some courses, they actually need to go all the way to week 1 or week 2, and that depends on the course and the teachers. But it's still not too late to sign up, but we want to make sure that you sign up as soon as possible in order for the students to not be lost, okay, or not being too far behind. After week 4, we really cannot accept any more enrollments because it would be really too late. That would not be a good experience for the student. If you haven't signed up, okay, another option is to do the self-paced courses. In the self-paced courses is the same content, the same material, without a live class component. All right, so students that either because they are too late, okay, or the schedule doesn't fit or something, then we have some of these self-paced courses that are, again, the content is exactly the same. They still have access to all the videos, and the expectation is that they have one-on-one meetings with me, with the teacher, at least every 4 weeks. Okay, so that is also another option. Any questions here about the expectations? All right, before class, during class, Dan, go ahead.
Thank you. I was just trying to type and I thought you were just going to go on before I could finish my thought. So regards to my son, he's not doing any of these classes yet. So that means if I sign him up for these, he's going to go in 2 weeks late. That could be a challenge. If he goes in through the self-paced program, can he get caught up to where he's at the same speed with the other students in a live class and then join the live class?
No, so we would probably prefer, one way or the other. Okay, all right. So, and again, there are some classes where, again, it is still not too late. All right, the
Yeah,
student
I'm
could
just
still catch up. For example, in my class, let's say in biology, the students that would be joining now, I would tell them, don't worry about week 1. Okay, just skip week 1, watch the videos on week 2, but don't do the assignment, don't turn in the notes for week 2. Concentrate now on following to week 3. Okay, and then they are kind of caught up that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was thinking about algebra.
So yeah, in algebra it's probably a little bit more hierarchical. So in algebra it would be better for them to try to catch up, okay, as they go. All right. We don't have a self-paced version of algebra yet.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So that would be the only for algebra, the live class would be the only option.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for the question. Any other questions about this topic? All right. Okay. So let me go back now to the agenda. All right. And talk about these other topics on online safety and privacy. Okay. Um, this is actually the thing that kind of keeps me up at night. Okay. You know, so because of safety reasons, we need to make sure that your students have their name in the accounts. Each student has to have their own account, okay? And please, please, please put a picture of the student in their account. And the picture has to be a picture that actually shows me who the student is, okay? I have some pictures where I have, a forest and a little person hugging a dog, okay? And that is the student, all right? I really cannot see much of the student with that picture. Or I have one of my favorite is someone skiing, okay, and they have the ski mask and everything, and well, yeah, that would be really cute. Okay, that is really nice that the student likes to ski, but that doesn't allow me to know who the student is. All right. And the reason for all of this is because the last thing that we want is for someone that is actually not a student or a parent to get into the network. Okay. So we must have all the student accounts need to be named, need to have the name of the student. We have to have the profile picture of the student. And also in your profile, please indicate your location. You don't need to give us an address or anything like that, but at least we need to have your location. Let me share the screen again and show you what I mean. So when you go to your account, you click here on your picture or on the outline of your picture, and then go to personal settings here, okay? And under account, you can update the email or password. Under edit profile, here is where you can put the picture of the student. Over here, if you want, put the picture of the forest and the dog and the family or the skiing, no problem. But this picture, I need the picture of each one of the members in the academy. This is important not only for students, but also for parent accounts. Okay, I have to have the parent accounts also with a picture of yourself. Not the whole family. You can put the picture of the whole family over here, but over here, give me a picture of yourself. Is that all right? Okay. Yep. And then you have to have your name also. And you can put the biography, something about you, and so on. And then your location. The location is actually very important for something that we are going to talk in a second, which is the local groups. All right. So, but we'll address this in a minute. But having your location is also very important because then you can actually connect with other families that are close by in the network. All right. So those are some of the requirements for this. So together with that, on the topic of online safety and privacy, that is also another reason why we have to have the cameras on. During class, I have to have the cameras on because I don't want someone to pose as a student that is not a student. Okay. And so because of that, we have to have the cameras on. So could you help me with that for your students? Would that be okay? All right. You see what I mean? That, you know, this is an online safety issue. All right. We cannot, you know, sometimes during class we have breakout rooms and the students go into breakout rooms and talk to one another and everything. Imagine if someone goes with your son and daughter into a breakout room and with other students and so on, but they are not showing who they are. Okay. And they are trying to, you know, get to know the students and everything. That is what keeps me awake at night. All right. We do not want that. And so all the cameras have to be on during class. All right. We need to make sure that we know who is in each screen. Okay. As far as privacy goes, also, we want to make sure that we maintain the privacy settings that our software gives us. So for example, we have location, you know, and just is a general location, the city and the state. That is it. But we shouldn't be asking for addresses or birthdays or anything that is considered private information. Okay. So I had one student that very well intentioned, but you know, this was before classes started. I didn't know the student, all right? I didn't know who the student was or anything. Posted, you know, hey, can you give me your birthday so I can send you a birthday wish or a birthday present online and everything? And a bunch of students started sharing their birthdays. Okay, I immediately deleted the post. Well, he posted it again. I deleted it the second time. And then I started a chat with this student and told him, you cannot do that. You cannot ask for personal
So how did it
information.
go?
Okay.
What'd they say?
All right. So can you see why these things are important? Okay. All right. So please help out. All right. And maybe at some point you may want to have also a conversation. I'm sure that you have already had conversations with your students about privacy and not sharing personal information online. That also includes this academy. Okay. I hope that we do form good friendships and relationships online and in person, but all those things need to be gained through a trust relationship. Okay. So it has to be something that is open, that you are involved, that the other parents are involved, and so on. So we want to keep things above board and under your control. Okay, excellent. Any questions or comments about this topic? Anything that you would like to add or? Okay. You can, if you want, you can add the reactions, and under reactions, there's an icon that says raise hand. Okay, and you can raise your hand and ask your question, lower the hand. That is how the students do it. Okay. Let's move on to the next topic here, which is how to communicate with the academy teachers and the staff. All right. So the best way of communicating is by doing chats here on the network. All right. And I hope that all of you have a parent account. So the parents' accounts are free. Make sure that you register your students under your account, under your students' accounts, not under your account. Okay, so then, all right, when you sign up your student, make sure that you come here, okay, you log out of your account, okay, and then you go and create an account for your student, all right, and then register the student with his or her account, all right. Okay, because whoever signs up is the student. I have parents taking these classes, and so if you sign up, you are taking algebra. All right, that is how it goes here. Okay, so once you sign up in your parent account, you are going to also have access to the events, to the information and links. This page is probably the most useful. This is where we have all the information about the school year, tuition, refund policy, and then we have links to all the previous events that we have had, okay, all the previous teacher meetings, everything else that you can imagine, you know, that we have done, it's here, okay? So webinars and meetings and so on, so you can have access to all of this for free, all right? And if you need to communicate with one of us, you click here on the chat icon, and you can start a chat by clicking here on the plus sign, and then you type the name of the person you want to start chatting with, okay? So, you know, so if I have here Emily Loveless, okay, then I have here Emily, and so I click and I can start a chat here with Emily, okay? So that is how you do it. Any questions about that? So far, so good? Okay, excellent. We have published here the refund policy for the Academy, and now it's here for you to see. We want to keep things simple and fair for everyone. So the refund basically, if you need to withdraw from a course, is there's a $50 fee, okay? And that is basically to cover our non-refundable cost, okay, the credit card cost and so on that we have to pay, you know, that is kind of how it goes. And here we explain what is the refund process, and the refund window is from June 1st to September 30th. So we have, you know, until the end of this month to make any changes that you need to make, all right? And you can request any changes by chatting with my wife, Heidi Riboldi. She's basically also the the finance manager and refund manager for the Academy. So you can send her a message requesting, explaining what is the situation, what a student needs to change, or what course needs to happen, and so on. And I have here even some examples explaining how the policy applies in different situations, all right? So, however, one of the advantages of in the tuition page here, we have what is our tuition, and we have, you can register for a course either paying the annual fee or paying the monthly registration, okay? And we offer a discount for the yearly registration, and the yearly registration gives you priority seating, gives you a discount, and also gives you a receipt for reimbursement. So when you sign up for the annual subscription for the course, you can get a receipt and then turn in that for reimbursement. And underneath here in the menu, we have this section called Where is it? Here, educational reimbursements. Okay. So if you come here to educational reimbursements, there is one page for each state. All right. And so you can come here, for example, if you are in Arizona, you can join this space. And here we have information about state-sponsored educational programs that allow you to seek for reimbursement for your courses. Okay. So if you live in Arizona, make sure that you join this Arizona page and study it. You can contact Emily Loveless here, our educational reimbursement manager, in order to help you navigate that. Okay. If you know of a program that we don't have listed, then also let Emily know so she can update the page and investigate more about this. Okay. Emily, do you want to say something else about this fantastic opportunity and work? Okay.
Yeah, if I only know how Utah's My Tech High works in I'm learning it because this is my first year using it. So if you have any information on your state, how you've been homeschooling, and getting reimbursed and stuff, yeah, it would be really nice for you to reach out and let me know how it works. And I'm trying to update it where it talks more about the reimbursement process. Because with My Tech High, I didn't really understand how direct orders worked and reimbursements worked. Now I understand it a lot more because I actually did it. But there's several programs that I've never used. So if you have used them and you see on the page, something that's missing or something that needs to be added, yeah, just let me know. And then also there's certain programs that need invoices. And so there's a certain process that we give you an invoice instead of a receipt. So those are listed on the pages and stuff. So I will email it to you. So if you need a receipt, you'd get that from my mom or me. I'm gonna be helping her with that. And then I'll just email you the invoice. So what you'll have to do is just chat. You can send me a chat, or I've also listed my number to text me and my email. And you'll just say what class you signed up for and what student it's for, and then give me your email, not the student's email, just your email. And then we have to create the invoice for you. Mm-hmm. And those are specific to Arizona. I know uses invoices, and I think Harmony ED uses the invoice. Mm-hmm. So
Harmony is in Utah, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sadly, because of the amount of work that it takes, we cannot process invoices for the monthly registration. Okay. So, if you are trying to use some of these reimbursement programs, you have to sign up for the yearly registration. Okay. Because the monthly would be too much work for us to produce receipts or invoices every single month. All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and there are several programs that I've put on Yeah, I think I updated Harmony ED because it does have a few other states and I put it on there. But
Okay.
thank you. Yeah, so there are several programs that we've reached out to that won't let us become a vendor due to religious I don't know, topics that we have in our curriculum. So we've given them a course description of all the classes and everything, but there are several states that won't reimburse you for the classes, but I do know that like some have, you know, technology allowance so you can get your students those type of things or class classroom supplies or whatever, but so some of them won't reimburse you for our classes. We're trying to work with them and figure it out, but some of them
Sometimes it's, thank you, Emily. Okay, sometimes it's interesting because it really depends on who is the person reviewing your request. All right, because we have had cases where the same program accepts a reimbursement, and then in another case for another family they reject it. Okay. And so, you know, it's a crazy world, but that is kind of the world where we are in. So all our course descriptions are, they should pass the test of religion, you know, secularism. So they are written to be neutral in that regard. All right. So if they actually read the course description, they should be okay. And yes, Jen says my tech high is famous for that. Yeah, it's infamous for that. So we'll keep trying to work with this. All right, excellent. Any other questions on this topic? Anything else?
Kelly Connell has one.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. All right. So let me talk a little bit about in the future, one of the things that we want to do is to grow this academy to the point where we can actually have more local groups. Okay. And that is one of the reasons why you need to put your location in your profile, because then you can find other families that are close to you, and other families can find you and communicate with you that way. But our aim and goal would be that, you know, in the future, let's suppose that we have, you know, 2 or 3 families in Omaha, Nebraska that want to take these classes in person. All right. Well, they could sign up to the class. They could have the classes all together. Maybe even they could have a parent willing to be the teacher for the class. And so then they could actually have the class in person. We would give them all the access to the material, the content, the videos, everything, you know, at a very discounted price. And then you would be able to form your own local group and have in-person classes with other families. And you really don't need that many students to do this, okay? 2 or 3 is just fantastic. It would be all right. But it could really change the way that you approach your homeschooling, especially for your teenage students. All right. So that is kind of one of the things that I really hope that we can offer in the near future. All right. So, but all of that is also needed in order, you know, you need to put what is your location. And we have started having some local groups. If you come here to the menu, we have some local groups already organized. We have one in here in Northern Utah County, 42 members. In Europe, we have a group with 9 members. And Draper Sandy area, we have a group with 12 members. All right. So if you want to open a local group in your area, let me know and I can start the process of opening a group, and then you can start inviting the families that are close by you. The way that you find out who is close by you is you click here under members and then you click on near you. And if they have put their location in the profile, then you will be able to see who are the other families that are close by. Okay, so this is a very, very useful thing if we all collaborate and do this that way. Okay, excellent. So I think that I have covered all the topics here, all right? And Ben says, I'm happy to lead an East Coast group. Okay, yes, all right, that would be awesome. So I really hope that we can do these local groups, and maybe in the summer I could go and to the East Coast and we can organize some event, okay, personally with the families close by and do something together in person, So that is all part of the vision of how we want this to be growing organically and developing. Okay. Again, the idea is personal connections first, technology is afterwards. So the technology is just a vehicle to help us connect, but we want to form as many good personal connections as possible. All right. Excellent. Well, this has been a long day. Any questions? So that now is the time for questions and answers. Okay. So I'm going to stop the recording. Okay. Going to stop the recording here. Let me